In the beginning, I would like to welcome all our new brothers and sisters who have completed the course just now and are joining us for this first session of Murli Manthan. So please accept a hearty welcome from my end and from all the other members of the family. Now, you see, in this class, we will have some deliberations, some pondering over or churning of the points of the Murli. Now the Murli is, so you took the course. In the course, we tell you in brief what Baba tells us in the Murli. And then Baba, Shiv Baba, who descends into the body of Brahma Baba and adopts us children, he thinks and he feels that it is the birthright of every child to listen to God's words directly. So in Bhakti, we have always had only interpretations of what humans told about God. But Baba, when he comes, he gives us the opportunity to directly listen to what he says. So you have the Murli, and in the Murli, so the Murli is sent on YouTube, and 5 a.m. There is a Murli live session on YouTube, and it is in Hindi. I would request you to listen to that full Murli, and if you're not comfortable with Hindi, then there is a Madhuban Murli app which you can download and read that Murli in English. And based on that Murli, because in the Murli there are many points that Baba talks about, points of truth, points of knowledge. And in this class, which is called the Murli Manthan class, I will take up 1 or 2 or 3 or more points depending on how much time permits, and share some insights and details on those points which are based on the knowledge that I have understood from Shiv Baba. So today Baba tells us that we Brahmins must take care that our food is pure. Yes, and Baba says that food cooked in the remembrance of Baba makes the heart pure. So this is what Baba tells today. Now, one thing that we have understood is that purity is the mother of peace and happiness. If you have not understood that, then please note it down today, that peace and happiness are a product of purity. So until you become pure, there cannot be the experience of peace and happiness. In Hindi, it is called Pavitrata Sukh Shanti Ki Janani Hai, which means purity is the mother of peace and happiness. And Baba, Shiv Baba, God, Paramatma, is called the purifier. Why is he called the purifier? Because he is the only one who has the understanding, the knowledge and the power to make us pure. And when Baba comes, he teaches us many methods to be pure, and he also asks us to have certain precautions which will ensure purity. So one of the important things about impurity and purity that Baba tells us is that your mind is very influenced by the food you eat. In the Shastras also there is a mention of as is the food, so is the mind. Jaisa anna vaisa man. So, this is the saying, and food has a great impact on the mind. What you eat eats you. So, so if you eat something which is tamo pradhan, which is not pure, then it will start eating you, which means your mind will start overworking, and then that influence of the food will make your mind restless. So, Baba says that when we are on the path of purity, so you see, in the world out there, people may or may not pay attention to food because they generally think of food as something that fills the stomach or gives nutrition to the body. But we spiritual students, we understand that food is not only something that nourishes the body, but food has an impact on the mind and the soul, because the quality of the mind influences the quality of the soul also. So, Baba tells us that in the world, people do not understand this aspect of food, that pure food purifies the soul, purifies the heart, and impure food, it makes the mind and the heart restless. So, when we say pure food and when we say impure food, what is the meaning of that? So, there are two aspects to it. First thing is, if you eat food which is tamoguni or rajoguni. Now, what is tamoguni or rajoguni food? So, if you are into eating non-veg and onion and garlic or very spicy oily stuff, so when we talk about non-vegetarian and onion and garlic, it is part of the tamo food. So, tamo pradhan. So, there are three qualities of food: sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. So, the tamasic is the worst kind, which is the non-vegetarian and the onion and garlic. And if you are eating food that has that vibration, then it is very difficult to keep your mind peaceful. Yes, so even if you meditate or do anything, this quality of food that you're consuming becomes like it becomes like what do you say? It becomes like a hole through which all your energy is lost. It becomes like an outlet through which all your spiritual energy is lost. So, Baba talks about this tamasic food, and onion and garlic are included in tamasic food, and the effect of that is the proof that it is tamasic. So, if you want to understand how much the effect of food is, just try changing your diet for some time. These days, people are choosing many types of diet depending on their aims. So, when people want to lose weight or when people are having some physical ailments, they are choosing to change their diet, right? And they understand that food has an impact on the body, and they also understand that food has an impact on physical health. So, they change their diets, and when they change their diets, they are able to see that whatever they were eating was having a different effect, and now when they have changed their diet, it has a different effect. So, if you also want to experiment on how much the effect of food is on the soul, you need to experiment with it. Just change your diet, just leave non-vegetarian and onion garlic for some time, and just see whether it influences your mind. Just try to see how much your mind feels happier and more peaceful just because of the food. So, this is one thing, and I will tell you something. There is this practice in Bharat that during Navratras, People abstain from eating non-vegetarian and onion and garlic, and people are able to control their senses. Yes, and they are able to control their vices in those days. In those 9 days, people are able to live a life of righteousness, not engaging in anger and lust. And sometimes you see, and lust, of course, they don't engage in at that time. And in those 9 days, they feel that they are able to also control their senses and their desires and other stuff, and they are able to do the bhakti in those 9 days. And sometimes people say that it is Paramatam Shakti, but it is not just Paramatam Shakti, it is also the value of discipline. And this is why Baba says that when you see that your diet contains these stuff which are considered tamo pradhan, just eliminate it for some time and see the effect on your mind. And then the rajasic food is food that is spicy, very what do you say, very tikha, a lot of chili in it, and then there is a lot of oil in it, fried food. These things are also part of rajasic food, and they also have an effect on the mind. Your mind is not that peaceful, but when we talk about sattvic food, so I'm just talking about one aspect of food right now, which is the purity of the contents of the food. Now, the third quality, or rather the best quality food, is the sattvic food, which includes, vegetarian diet, that too simply cooked. So it is, the style of cooking is simple and it's pure vegetarian diet that consists of sattvic food. So just switch this and see. And then the second aspect of food is, what are you thinking about when you're cooking food? Yes, so your thoughts at the time of cooking food, serving food and accepting food, they become the vibration of the food. And then your body also starts, and your mind also starts responding to those vibrations. Let me give you one example. You see, there was this one girl, and she had approached Baba's home, and she had this problem of anorexia. And in anorexia, her body and her mind rejected food, so she couldn't eat. Do you understand? She had this state of mind where her mind rejected food, her body rejected food, and she couldn't consume anything, and her health and her body statistics, they all showed deterioration. And then she had come to the center, and then I had a chat with her, and I told her, and I asked her, why do you think this situation came up? Why do you think, or is there something in your awareness which you think brought about this anorexia? So she said that when I was, so she shared that 4 years back, so 4 to 5 years back, she was in a frame of mind where she did not want to eat. So she wanted to lose weight. And then she said, I would always create this thought, food is bad, food is unhealthy, food makes you gain weight, and I don't like food. And I practiced this a lot. And then she said that this was very natural also, because I had started hating food and my body and everything about it. So I created these thoughts, and you see that when you create these thoughts and with those thoughts you consume the food, then those thoughts start influencing the mind, and then the relationship of the soul with food has become very bitter, and then the soul or the mind and the body, they are both rejecting the food. So then I told her that, the only way to alter this is to look at food as prasad. So you look at food as bhog, and whenever you cook food, or I told her mom also that when you cook food for her, so be in the awareness that I'm remembering Baba and I'm cooking food which is bhog. And when you also see the food, have that attitude and vision that this is not ordinary food, this is bhog, and this is going to nourish my body and soul. And you see, this she did it for quite some time, and although it is not very easy to reverse any condition of the soul or the body, but to a great extent she was very successful. And it took around 1.5 years to fully recover from that state. But let me tell you that no medicines were involved. It was only this practice of looking at food differently while cooking, while serving, while accepting, and bit by bit by bit that relationship had changed. But if you look at it, it took 4 to 5 years to soil or to make that relationship bad, but it took 1.5 years to recover, so that was good enough. So Baba tells us that, you see, the thoughts that you have while cooking the food, or the state of mind that you're in, and the state of mind that you're in while you're serving food and accepting food, that is, those vibrations, that state of mind is absorbed into the food. Because you see, thoughts have a great influence on everything that is material around us. Yes, so do you know that there are experiments in science which tell you, so there is a Japanese scientist, Emoto Masaru, and he has conducted many experiments which tell you that when you look at food or water, and whatever you are holding in your awareness, when you're looking at water or food, has an impact on the crystalline structure of that edible item in front of you. And if you look at it, not just food, even the atmosphere around you or the elements of nature, they are impacted by your attitude and your state of mind. So when we are cooking food, that food is greatly impacted by your state of mind while you cook it, because you're looking at it, you're giving drishti to it for half an hour, 1 hour, whatever time it takes to cook and prepare the food. Even if you're just assembling a salad, your thoughts and vibrations are affecting it at that time. So Baba tells us that when you consume food prepared in the remembrance of Baba. Now you see that, let just experiment with it today and see. If you just tell yourself, I want to be peaceful while I cook food, you will not be able to stay peaceful, because you see, the mind is very unstable right now, and it keeps picking many things from the past, from whatever is happening around you, or some commentary about what is going to happen. And there are many thoughts that are bombarding your mind while you're doing any activity, and most of the time we are not present in what we are doing. So although it looks like a very good idea to be present while you're cooking, but our mind, the quality of our mind is very disturbed right now. So it cannot focus on whatever you're doing in the moment. So what you have to do is, you have to maintain conscious awareness or conscious remembrance of Baba while you cook food. And how do you do that? Just maintain this awareness that Shiv Baba, who is the ocean of love or ocean of peace or ocean of purity, whichever quality of Baba you want to be in awareness of at that time. Just maintain this awareness that the ocean of peace is right here, yes, somewhere up, and he's showering you with that peace, and your mind is absorbing that peace while you're cooking food. Just like you see, you can feel the temperature outside, or you can feel, whether the air around you is pure or not. Similarly, just stay in the awareness that there is a continuous shower of peace which is coming from Baba, and Baba is the ocean of peace, and this continuous shower of peace is being absorbed by you through the mind, and your mind is experiencing those drops of peace while you're cooking the food. And when you suppose you're not able to stay very stable in one state, so then shift to ocean of purity, and I will give you some thoughts about how I do it. So you see, Baba tells us that I am the ocean, yes, and usually when we think about the ocean, we think about the ocean of water, and more or less everybody has had the experience of being on a beach and experiencing the ocean of water. Yes, and when you sit in that ocean of water, when you are surrounded by that ocean of water, what do you feel? You feel coolness, and you feel that it's cleaning you, it's cleaning you, and it's so huge that everything looks very small in front of it. And Baba tells us that, I'm not an ocean of water, I'm an ocean of virtues. And you see, just like the ocean, Baba's energy is very huge. And you see, when Baba, the ocean of peace, is here, then there's peace all around you, and you're surrounded by those waves of peace. And in that experience of peace, you see, peace can be, in the beginning, it's a very good idea to relate peace to coolness. So just like, water makes you cool, peace also pacifies you. So it's like cooling all your thoughts, and all the thoughts that are not cool and they are giving you a sensation of being worked up or stressed or any other emotion, they are just drowning in that ocean, and you're feeling the coolness, the contentment, the calmness that you feel when you sit in the ocean of water. So the ocean of water makes the body cool, but here your mind is cool when you are sitting in the awareness that you are surrounded by this ocean of peace, Baba. So this is how I do it. And you see, if you maintain this awareness, and sometimes you see your mind will just drift away to something else, and then you're not even aware, and then you catch yourself that you've already drifted away and you're thinking about some human being, some things of the past, or something that happened yesterday or today. So at that moment, again bring yourself to the awareness that Baba is still here, and he is giving me this these rays of peace or waves of peace, and I am feeling the peace and the coolness of that peace in my mind while I am cooking food. And when you keep doing that, then you see the food absorbs those vibrations, and you are the one filling that food with those vibrations. And then when you serve it to others, then even if they have not made any effort to be peaceful, those vibrations contained in the food will give them peace. So, and also, there is a very interesting thing about food cooked in Baba's remembrance, that you see, when you cook something in somebody's remembrance, then the one who eats it is also connected with that one in whose remembrance it is cooked. So have you seen that So I remember there was this one Masi I had, and her son was living abroad. And whenever she used to cook cake, whenever she used to make cake, she would remember her son always. And whenever we saw cake, we also remembered her son. So I remember whenever we saw cake on the table, we would tell her, Masi, now today you are remembering your son and you have cooked it in his remembrance. And we also remembered him, and mostly we were talking about him when we were having that cake. And now I connect it to, Baba tells us that one thing is that whatever you cook, the vibration, the awareness in which you cook, the state of mind in which you cook is absorbed by the food. And second thing is, when anybody eats it, they not only consume those vibrations, but their buddhi yoga also starts getting connected with Baba. And this is a very shortcut method to bring somebody closer to Baba. Because you see, you will cook food for somebody for 1 day, 2 day, or maybe 1 month, 2 months, or maybe one meal a day or 2 meals a day, but they need constant nourishment. So when you remember Baba while cooking food, and they also start feeling that connection with Baba, then this is a great method for them to have a direct connection with Baba, and then slowly in the future they will also start taking direct nourishment from Baba. So when you eat food, when you cook food, be very careful, and all the mothers who are cooking food, or all the fathers who are cooking food, and you are interested in your children being peaceful, happy, joyful, or their hearts feeling the peace and the joy and the happiness that you are feeling from Baba, this is a very good method to donate it to the loved ones. So this is something that Baba tells us, that always cook, serve and consume food in Baba's remembrance, and say always eat sattvic food, cook sattvic food, because food and the way in which we cook it and serve it has an impact on the mind. And Baba also tells us that even when you have, a mango in summer, or a glass of water, or anything that goes inside you, it'll influence your mind. So even if it's a glass of water, just don't drink it directly. Take 30 seconds, recharge it with God's remembrance, and feel that the purity and peace coming from Baba is being absorbed in the water, and then have it. And these are very simple methods to recharge yourself in. You see, you are cooking it and you're filling it with power, and that power is recharging you. So it is such an easy method to recharge yourself. And even if you're taking medicines, or you're taking something which you're taking for your physical health, recharge it with Baba's vibrations. These days, what people do is, when they are taking medicines, they go on Google and search the side effects. Yes, and then when they are taking the medicine, what are they thinking about? All the side effects that the medicine can have. You are taking the medicine, and then you are infusing it with the weakness of having side effects, and then you are taking that medicine inside you. So if you know how much food is affected by vibrations, you would never choose to do that. So if you trust the doctor, and the doctor has given you a medicine, just take that medicine in remembrance of Baba, and infuse it with the faith and trust that it is healing your body, because Baba is the healer. So when you take the medicine, just remember Baba as the healer, and see that the healing energy of Baba is absorbed in the medicine, and you're taking it. And I will tell you one thing, in my own experience, spirituality is a lot about these simple methods. These simple methods of cooking in Baba's remembrance, or drinking water in Baba's remembrance, or taking medicine in Baba's remembrance. Spirituality has got a lot to do with these simple methods. But sometimes when we don't go for simple things, we think, spirituality is very complicated, and feeling peaceful and happy is a very complicated effort, and you're doing too much for too much for peace and happiness. But these simple methods are what give the most results, and this has been my experience. And I would always encourage you to pay attention to these simple practices. And when you're cooking, serving, if you're in Baba's remembrance, that remembrance is also nurturing the soul, and then the food is also nurturing the soul doubly. So these are very simple methods to ensure double nourishment from Baba. So this is one thing. Second thing, Baba tells us that the greatest fortune is to know, understand and belong to Baba, the bestower of fortune. Yes, and those of you who have this idea that I am not very fortunate, yes, because we always have some idea or the other about our stars and our destiny, and they are shaped by body consciousness. And sometimes people carry this idea that, oh, this person is very fortunate, but I'm not that fortunate, and luck favors them and it doesn't favor me. But Baba says that now look around yourself. There are so many souls that are struggling to find answers, to find God, who are confused, who have questions. And you are the most fortunate soul who has found the bestower of fortune, Baba. And the more you start knowing Baba, the more you start learning from Baba, the more you start, belonging to Baba, having this surrendered buddhi with Baba. And in a surrendered buddhi, you start doing what Baba says. That is the most fortunate thing that can happen to you. So at least first thing has happened, that we know Baba. And Baba is the ocean of knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, power. Baba is the bestower of prosperity, purity, everything. So Baba is the bestower, the giver of everything. And now that you know Baba, there is no greater fortune than this. So the second step is understanding Baba, and then becoming the direct child, recognizing Baba, and then becoming the direct child, which means being very obedient and doing as he says. And your locks of fortune are only open, or are already open, and the only thing that waits for you is to take that treasure of fortune from Baba. So from today onwards, never say that other people are fortunate and I am not, because you have the biggest fortune, which is belonging to the bestower of fortune himself. So tell yourself 20, 30, however many times you want in the day, that there is nobody as fortunate as me. And when you remember this, then you will be able to encash that fortune in the conference age. Okay, Om Shanti.